Let's take a sample question. Let's say we're talking about CELPIP Task 2 speaking, and this is where they ask you to talk about something in the past. Talk about a past event, your favorite food, favorite possession, a time when you tried something new, time when you faced a hard customer, whatever. So it's about a situation, a person, place. It could be about one specific thing in the past or in present or generally. Now, let's assume the question there is talk about a time when you experienced something new. And now they're going to give you some options. You could talk about a thing, an event, an adventure, and so on. That part of the question you should avoid reading because it is too extra. Basically, talk about a time when you experience something new. All you got to do is think of, number one, a realistic scenario. So for me, that was just last Sunday. I went to this Japanese restaurant, tried their ramen and squid, which I never tried before, in combination especially. Now I'm gonna come up with two things, and with each of my 2 points, I'm gonna come up with a description or an adjective that defines the quality of that event more. What that will do is first give me a good task response because I'm being descriptive. Secondly, it'll give me a good range of vocabulary because I'm going to insert adjectives. And here's an example. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is obviously something very generic, that it was very delicious and it was scrumptious. Those are adjectives already. And I could describe it further by saying the reason behind why it was delicious was because the spice level was just so high that it intensified all the flavors. Now, in my second point, I could talk about the ambience of the restaurant. While we were in Canada, it felt like we were in Japan. Everything, the restaurant setting, from the themes to the colors, everything about it screamed culture. And using words like these, combinations like screamed culture, it helps you develop the range of phrases even better. And let me think of my adjective here. So I could say that it was very traditional, or it reflected a very Japanese-like theme. So these are going to be my adjectives to define this more. So I got my 2 points in my head. And again, you want to do this all quickly in the preparation time. And if you can't, you want to do it while you're speaking. Right now, I thought, to be honest with you guys, I thought about this answer before I started the video, but the only thing I thought about was the Japanese event. Everything else, the 2 points I just thought about and came up with, was right now, and that's how you have to think while you're speaking. Now, you want to insert one last thing here, and this is something you always do at the end of task 2. You also want to do this in most of the speaking questions, but definitely in questions 1, 2, 7, 8, and the picture questions 3 and 4. So what we're going to do here is explain why this was so important for me, why this place or event or experience was so grand. Because in question 2 every time they ask you, why was it important? What was so special about it? And one thing I could say is I got to try this after weeks and probably months of eating just Indian food. So while I love Indian food, I was dying for something different, and this gave me that experience, which was a good break from routine and something new, which I always appreciate. And there I go. So I got my 2 points. I have them well described with the use of adjectives and good wordings. And that's a big problem in task response when people just say the food was delicious. Even if you say that, you have to explain it. So how was it delicious? Because of the spices. And how was the thing cultural? Because of the Japanese style theme, and it was very traditional. And when we actually speak, if you have more time, you can add more elements like how tiny the plates were, how all the cooks, chefs, and service workers were all from Japan, and so on, depending on how much time you have. And finally, you finish off with why was it important? How did it make you feel? And that adds more layer to your description as well as the range of vocabulary. So guys, follow this format in all CELPIP speaking questions, and especially for task 2. And please subscribe, like, and share as we will go down all other questions in CELPIP speaking in the next few videos.